Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Walt Weekly podcast. It's good to be back on the podcast with my very special guest to highlight Help Black Women's Month. And April is supposed to be Black Women's Month. But first, let me send a shout out to the Walt Weekly podcast, CEO Walter Lathan Sr. and co-host Sergeant Ernest Robertson. If you know me, you know that I am a music lover. And I like to throw in my favorite lyrics every now and then to express my thoughts. With that said, we claim no rights to the Isley Brothers song, Here We Go Again. Today, I am honored to have with me my St. Augustine College/University, I always say that, classmate and greatest friend ever, as a special welcome to my sister, Annetta White. I always forget her maiden name because I'm so used to saying her wedding name. So I'll let her correct me on that. So I will give this opportunity up so that Annetta can introduce herself and tell the audience about her career, her family, her status, and do all the good stuff that y'all like to hear out there. So Annetta, do your whole name, since I messed it all up.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Annetta White, hyphenated Doyle. Doyle is my married name. I'm married to Charles Doyle. We are both from Scarlet Neck, North Carolina.
Homegirl.
And we've been married this year for 32 years. To God be the glory. We have one daughter. I have one daughter and one bonus son, 7 grandchildren, and two great grandchildren. My mom has finally moved down here from New York. She will be 88 years old on May 25th. And I'm so proud that she's still with us. I attend St. Augustine College. I love my HBCU. It breaks my heart to see that they are not in commission at this time, but we are standing on the faith of God. It will be in commission soon.
That's so wonderful.
I attended St. Augustine College 1975, 1979. I played Swing by Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated 1979. I also have most of my friends of 40-some years, especially Briggette and Brenda Bonds, Carolyn Bachlis, Bernadine Bolden, Evelyn, Pam Cherry, and Audra Phillips Hunter. We are still in contact with all these years, and we're still blessed to be here.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And you are jewel to us, too. Are you still a participant? You've always been the one that participated in everything. So are you still with you with the swings, right?
I'm still with the swings, and I'm a member of St. Augustine Illuminati. So we used to have meetings on Mondays, and then we went to Zoom. So right now, I don't know the status of the meeting because I have been taking care of my 92-year-old aunt and Tower Nursing Home. So I've been pretty busy with my family. But I attend the meeting with Rhoda Martin on Friday night at Martin Street Baptist Church, and that was a good meeting. We did not know all the things that was going on St. Aug campus.
Wow.
But it hurts our heart, but it gladdened our heart that we had a packed house and people are ready to help.
Well, we're going to get to that. I'm going to introduce a little bit more about that because I know you were there, and I'm glad that you even took the call when I said you came because I know you always participated.
Yes.
So I'm going to let the audience know that here we go again. They used to always say, in all the women of the world, they keep coming back to us girls, and it seems like the Black women, we always have to uphold our families and our community. So I feel that this is a priority or urgency as our topic today. I'm putting what I originally was going to talk about on the back burner because St. Augustine University and what may has allegedly caused St. Augustine door to close. We can do and things that we can talk about today. Things that we can do to help save this HBCU college campus, but in St. Augustine College, and I'm gonna say college, but really university now, not only provided us with our continuing degree, but it gave us an enriched culture of who and what we can become. I often tell young people to always consider attending an HBCU school to learn who you are. So my question with her to Annetta today is, I keep saying that I gotta call you Blue. I'm sorry.
That's
is that okay?
fine.
Because that's all we did. Everybody knows. So audience, I'm gonna call her Blue, but she gave you her real identity. Why do you think the why the HBCU school give us something that other schools, we're gonna do like the history, the richness of it. Why do you think it gave us something that other schools, when I say other schools, I'm talking about white schools basically, couldn't give us? But all of us went to one of these HBC schools, St. Right. Augustine. I think that we have to put out over the media of what happened to St. Augustine College and possibly the status of, we're going to talk about the status of its closing. And there has been so much room and question of what can we do as alumni, like you said previously, of simply wanting to have, to save the school. And a lot of people have a lot of ideas what they can do to support or fundraise. So at this moment, just tell us a little bit what did this HBC school do? How did it make you feel when you were there?
St. Aug, I came from a little town, Scotland, and I came to big town Raleigh, North Carolina when I attended. It was St. Augustine College when I attended. And they laid down the foundations for all of us Black students. So when we go out into the world, that we are educated, we have knowledge. They provide us with how you go on an interview, how to dress on the interview in order to attain a well-positioned paying job in this world, in the world that we was living in. So St. Aug gave us knowledge, gave us foundation, we went to the church. I think it was Catholic, Episcopal. You know, let us know that anything that we need, anything that we can do anything through Christ. So they instilled that in us. So as far as me, they gave me the foundation to learn, to respect, and to treat others as you want them to be treated. And they wanted us too to act a certain way. You know, I think they groomed us for that, acting a certain way in the public. Even though college kids, we can be a little wild, but the experience of just being with your Blackness, who you are, they made sure that we could identify who we are and even more so what we could become. You know, when I was there, I loved being on the Black campus because the culture is so rich there. Even though you're Black, we still matter. We still matter. And we did. Well, we had homecoming weekend. We had what were the stuff we used to do on the campus? We had socials in the union. Socials at the student union. And yes, we had cookouts. They gave us cookouts on the union. Step shows. We did a lot. They brought in, I never forget, the Ohio's players in the gym. Sure did. I remember that. You know, they have different groups. So we St. Aug gave us a good time. They gave us good learning. They had good teachers. They had the teacher understand you. If you're failing, they would say, well, you might need a tutor. They would help you. So they gave us the education, respect, and foundation that we need in order to live in this world. And they did. They prepared us very well. And we went with Dr. Robinson at the time. Yeah, Dr. Robinson. Yes. He will be 105. Is he still living? He is still living. What? He had on his 100th birthday, his daughter gave him a birthday party on St. Augustine campus. Okay. and that was nice.
I
And I saw it
that.
came up on my social media that Dr. Robinson will be 105 this year.
Well, he has seen a lot. He has seen a lot.
He was the best president.
I think so. I agree.
That 100%. We could ever have.
And I want the audience to know that St. Augustine's College University, as I understand, was the second black college in this area to open after the Civil War, I believe. And Shaw was the first, I think. And then St. Aug was founded by the Freeman Commission of Episcopal Church. I believe that. Yes. So our college did thrive with Dr. Robinson, Briggette Robinson, that was his name. Yes. And was in charge of it. And even our college continued to thrive during the 90s, as I understand. There was unforgettable days, to be clear, for a while at St. Augustine University they have been faced with debt before. So since you attended the town hall at the St. Augustine University that was hosted on Martin Street Baptist Church last weekend, I think Roland Martin, the Baptist Church hosted it, but Roland Martin kind of like produced it. What was it? Finding a Path Forward at St. Augustine University. And those that are listening, please make sure you check that out so you can get a little bit more depth about the different speeches and facts that was given. So what do you take away from the gathering of the people in the mood of the concern of the community and the alumni? What did you feel, or what did you take away from that time you were there?
It was a very good meeting. It was very good information. We did not know all the things that was going on with St. Aug. Mm-hmm. I didn't know St. Aug had 38 lawsuits against them. Mm-hmm. And also, I did not know that the board doesn't want us to go visit the campus. The campus now has no water, has no lights. The grass has grown over on campus, and we have people, for instance, Les Salon Service wants to go over there and cut the grass, but we're not allowed over there, and I don't understand the reason why. Mm-hmm. As Rodomon points out, we have a lot of people that wants to help to bring St. Augustine back. But the board is holding us hostage on that. And I don't understand why. If you want your HBCU to be restored, why are you holding us back? We don't know where the money is going. We also heard that St. Aug had took out a loan, and this loan company offered them a certain percentage, a low percentage, and they took the high percentage loan company. We didn't understand that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people was talking about when Dr. Ward was there, Dr. Everett Ward, he was bringing in the money to St. Aug. Yes, he was. He was great. Mm-hmm. But as soon as a question was answered, as soon as someone asked a question, what is going on with the money, or Dr. Ward got a whoop or something wasn't right, he was locked out of his office and fired. So we don't know the ins and out of the outcome of that, but all we know, there's people standing by, they're willing to help, but the board is just not giving in.
But my church, the Glorious Church, was over there at Glasgow for a long time. And right before COVID, I saw a lot of the $1 million homes being built around that school. And then those people in those $1 million homes started complaining about our church. Music too loud. We went through a lot of legal stuff about that. Yes. Until eventually we sold it or whatever happened. And they tore it down, and now it's a whole new community. Mm-hmm. When I say new community, it's not the original us people. Right. Us black skin folk people are no longer in these $1 million homes. So the taxes are high for those that are still there. The taxes are extremely high that they can hardly afford it, or they had to sell their property. Right. And they put it like that. And I was noticing even back then, I would go in the store and stop at the food line, and I would say, Um, uh, I would say something like something's changing around here. You go in the store and they ain't got no pig feet. You be seeing some nutrition stuff up there. That wasn't our culture back then.
Right.
And so I noticed then that a change was coming. Right. So to me, from what I watched and been listening to, people want to know what happened.
What happened?
Where is the money? Old people used to say, follow the money. Mm-hmm. Follow the money. Mm-hmm. Now it doesn't make any sense unless somebody want to gain from the land. Right. It doesn't make any sense to just allow this school to run down to the dirt bottom. To the dirt bottom. When people are reaching out to help, do fundraisers, just like, a lot of colleges has been in that space before. But there's nobody to talk to. That's what I understand. Right. Nobody can tell heads and tails what happened. Right. And the only thing that what I'm just saying now, the audience can read through whatever way they want to. I'm just saying, like old folks say, follow the money. Right. You'll find out what happened. I really believe maybe there's a possibility, allegedly possibility, that they want to get rid of that land. Right. For commercial use or for developers. Right. Or maybe they've already made a deal to destroy it purposely. Because some people take cuts. I don't know. But I'm just saying because it's too much of this occurring, targeting with DEIs taken away from the public schools, and they're telling colleges what state-funded colleges what they can do, and some federal in order to get the federal money. Right. What you can't teach this and you can't teach that, and so now they want to go in and just look. We don't need all these black colleges. This is my recollection. They want to tear them down. So let's just tear them down and put some houses there and some stuff there and erase the historical part of black history, part of our culture, part of who we are. Because we know that St. Aug colleges and universities like St. Aug help black folks get ahead in life when white colleges would not let us in. No. Either our scores wasn't high enough or our parents couldn't afford it, but they won't let us in. And now they're taking away the DEI. They don't have to let us in. They don't have to let us in at all. And now they're taking away our voting rights, so we can't even vote in the right people to help us preserve our schools. Right. They're taking that away too. They're trying to take everything away from black people. They're erasing the history out of school for the students to learn. And see, on black colleges, you got that history because even St. Aug, first time I ever saw Louis Farrakhan was at St. Aug. Right. Even though I might not agree with all of his agenda, but as far as the black culture is concerned, there are some things he is on point for. I may not believe with his totally religious theology, but when it comes on to the culture itself, he's on target. And so what they have said, I feel like they're saying, let's dismantle the black HBCU schools because that's what helped the black community grow. Education. And they don't want us to grow. They don't want us to grow. And sometimes it breaks my heart when we can't get... I think our young black women are doing it. They're going to college, they're educating themselves, and they're getting jobs and businesses. But sometimes I do get a little saddened, and I know you can kind of talk about that. It seems like it's less of our young black boys entering college. Right. And see, to me, that just opened the way for them to get them that late, put them out there in the fields and somewhere down. I think I read somewhere on TikTok or one of them social medias where they were looking for workers to work in the fields, pay them $11 an hour to work and pick cotton or pick berries or something. One of the two. So I think we have to be mindful and watchful of what their agenda is. Yeah. What is their agenda for this, to tear down our schools? And so the community, and see, St. Augustine University, I keep saying college, and I think it's fine. It affects the whole black community there. It does. When we were going, that was a strong community there. You had the barbershops up there, you had White's barbershop, White laundry room, you had the barbershops, the sub place, and all that stuff. And I remember us hanging out, not just going there to get what we get and come on back home. The whole community. And then you had LeCounts. Remember LeCounts? The little, when you go by a cafe light.
Yeah.
And you had the daycare center. So that community was thriving very well. And I don't know, they try to talk as if drugs. See, when I was, did drugs come in? The people, what is this thing there about the students didn't know how to behave, or was there a matter of students bringing drugs or something on campus?
Well, that didn't happen in 75, 79. If it's happening now, I don't know. But we didn't have to worry with that.
No, we had none of that. The only thing we had to worry about snowballs being hold of us. Right. You know them days when we snowball. You know, we were hiding going to the cafeteria, I believe, hiding behind Dr. Robinson, and they hit him too. We thought we were safe, huh?
We didn't want to go eat because we were scared to go hit by the snowball.
Or a food fight in the cafeteria. Right. That was the fun stuff.
That's all we had.
Maybe it's definitely, so you might see every now and then the girls fussing over a boy, but that's normal. All that stuff is normal. Right. But I just wanted to, I thought that if we ever, how can we find out, is there places that we can do something to join, or how can we find out information as they relieve information about St. Augustine's College, how we can help? Or though I know we talked about it, but is there any particular person that you know that we can contact, or just email, or just check out? Because personally, if they would ever, I could ever find out about that, me and my sister, Dina Ramsey, we would probably team up. And when she didn't go to St. Albans, she went to a HBCU school in Virginia, Norfolk State. We would be glad to host something.
St. Al has a website.
Yeah.
They have a website.
Okay.
And most of the stuff that we find out is posted on Facebook. And my good classmate, Michelle Nimmons, she always posting what is going on with St. Al. Also, Orchahana has a cousin that she's in contact with about what's going on with St. Al. Then I have a girlfriend in Maryland, Mary and Faith, two of them. When I talked to them, I found out information about St. Al. So I don't know the exact. Janelle Sherrill, South Carolina, is the president of the Illuminati chapter. So I don't have a specific person. How we find out is through the news, through the media, on Facebook, or through word of mouth by one of our classmates.
Okay.
So I will search that information and let you know, because it's a lot of people want to help. Even the community wants to help.
And I think we can pull it off. Yes. I think we can save St. Al if they let us. And that's the thing. Why is the alum? I was confused over what is about the board that they can't change.
They said the board has voted themselves in indefinite.
And that's not legal. It can't be legal.
That's the saying I got. The board is voted in indefinite. So they won't be removed. I think it's 7 men's and 1 lady. 7 Qs and 1 Delta. That's what they said. Is running the board.
And then I see one white guy face on that board list.
I don't know. I know the white guy that was Jermaine Rhoda Martin. I think he was a financial advisor or one of the banks.
Okay.
Person that said that they had offered.
Yeah, I remember him saying they had offered him a small percentage.
A small percentage.
And they turned it down. And the only clause that he had in that agreement, because they were willing to pay off the debts, pay off the federal taxes, all that's owed on it.
Yes.
But the only thing they wanted him in the thing was to renew the board members, and that was a fair play. Because how can a board member? That's what can have such a stronghold on a university like that.
We don't know, but
I never heard that day in my life.
Me either. But they got a stronghold. So we don't know, and like, it hurt us to our heart to see our campus like that, because the students That
Well,
was
they
their
have
had to
suffering.
leave. They're suffering. It's a lot of students that probably want to go to St. Aug, can't go to St. Aug because no accreditation, no loans that they can get. And now they're asking for, I think, for graduation for those students to help pay their tuition. Well, who we pay it to? Where the money going to? You know. And I remember at the vote of my meeting, it was this lady was talking, and she was saying she worked for St. Aug, and she went to the dentist to get a root canal. And after she finished, they applied her insurance. She had no insurance, but St. Aug was taking the money out of her check each month. So nobody knows where that money went. She had to pay out of her pocket. So it's a whole lot of issues that's going on. We can't put our hand on. It started when the President Sugar was there, and on down. It went down. Because as long as President Robinson was there, we had issues, but not these kind of issues. Not that kind of issue. No, we didn't have those. Yes. And that's so. And I can say, as I can say, we fall down, but we must. Oh, we will get back up again.
And see, that's what I was thinking, because I know a lot of people, even at my church, went to St. Augustine University. Matter of fact, my pastor, Bishop Davis, he attended St. Augustine. Darrell Davis attended St. Augustine. My new pastor, Bishop, he's attended St. Augustine. And I say out there to those that are listening, if you're prayer warriors, this is your time to pray. Yes. You pray for this historical Black college, college university, because it helps our children. This is a time for you to pray and ask that stronghold be removed. Like I say, you follow the money, you know what the problem is. Because it sounds sticky to me, so it sounds like somebody has made a deal, an agreement to sell the land for something else. Just let it go down like that. But old people just say, but we got this. The old folks just say the devil's a liar.
And I hope this time he's a liar.
He will be a liar. He is a liar. I have certainly. Is there anything else? Let me ask you something. How can we? And I know it's not our school, but would you encourage young people to still try to go to HBCU?
Yes, I would. Just because you have one hump in the ground doesn't mean there's going to be several humps. So you can overcome that obstacle and just let them to go ahead. Yes, HBCU, I would encourage you to go.
Because it is a beautiful feeling. That's a feeling that you cannot get anywhere you go.
And if I had to do it all over again, I would choose St. Augustine University.
I would definitely choose St. Aug. Actually, when I went to St. Aug, I was supposed to be going there. Early childhood education was my second choice. I really wanted to be a food nutritionist, but they didn't have that program.
Right.
And at the time when the recruiter recruited me, he said that I could go get everything that I need at the basics, and they would let me go over to North Carolina State. They would take me over there for the nutritionist classes, and I could get that, had partial. But somehow or another that didn't work out. So when I got there, they no longer did it. So I just made education my major,
right?
And the second major was reading. But I say to you, I am grateful. We did good today. We on time and everything. I am so grateful to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
I am going to close out. We'll touch our politics another time, because I know that you were once a volunteer at the polls.
Yes.
You worked hard. And
yes.
The only thing I'm going to say is that I know that they're making it hard for us.
Yes.
They're making it hard, especially North Carolina has changed over a lot of things, and they're going to make it harder for us to vote. And our voting, even though we are talking about St. Augustine College,
right?
Even our voting in the local and state effects will make a difference in what happens to St. Augustine College.
Correct.
Because it's the laws that set it up that will help back us up when we take them. We're going to get them wherever they are. Right. The Lord going to pull them down. I'm going to say it like I said. He's going to pull them down, and you're going to have to do what's right.
Right.
By these students. So I asked, I thank you for giving me that opportunity. So anything, but let me say, there's anything you want to say to the audience today about anything, encouragement, a word of encouragement, especially my young listeners, encourage to keep going on. You have done well. You didn't do yourself right because you really didn't tell everything that you did. But I'll let your bio, they can read it online, the bio, right, because you've done a lot. And maybe I know my uncle going to say, why you didn't do my bio? But yes, it's all good.
I would encourage my listening community, whoever, to keep praying for us and to help us find that solution to bring our HBCU back into existence.
That's true. And I thank you so much. I am going to say to my audience, my final words to you is to say that we are descendants of American slaves. We built America with our sweat, our tears, and tortured bodies, death with no pay. And the big question is, what do we do when you love a country that don't love you back? And no matter how they have treated us, we stand tall and help them from destroying themselves. But while we help them, we help our own community. We have to get it together and get our resources together. Having like you said, our biggest resources is educating our children, right, and not leaving our school. And even if we segregate, if they go back to segregation, it's going to be up to us to keep our children educated and ready to compete. And HBCU schools did that.
Yes,
they did it. They prepared us. Now, when the time we graduated,
right,
they always talking about DEI. Even though it was there, but we could never use it. We never used it. It was the playing field was for it to be an even play field. Right. But they found a way to keep us out. In education and all kinds of jobs. We were going up there against people. Mm-hmm. We had bachelors and then our year and art degrees and masters, and we still weren't getting in there like we should. So I say to my audience, thank you for listening. The Walt Weekly thank our guests today, and we hope that you will return. That with me, I got to get, if I can get my roundup our girls, return with us. We spend special love and thankfulness to all our listeners, old and new. Please continue to tune in to the Walt Weekly podcast. Like, follow, make some comments. Now, you guys don't always like to make comments, but you would do me some good if you did. I love you anyway. And of course, share. You can follow us on all the social media. And do check us out on YouTube. As always, we love y'all. You know I do. So I wouldn't say it if I didn't. So with that said, thank you. And we will be releasing this by the end of next week. So look out, look for here we go again. Now, we didn't talk about our politics this time, but we'll get back to it because our priority is our HBCU schools. Sorry about that. Love you. Signing off.